All right, good morning. Welcome to another episode. It's the last installment for the week of Spring Sport on Western Spring Television. My name is Joseph Atewa saying good morning, and there's a lot to talk about on the show this morning. But then as time progresses, we'll definitely give you all the details making the rounds in the world of sports.
And I am Nengi Enes Ademola. Hello and welcome to the Friday edition of Sports Spring on Western Spring Television. Today we'll talk about the Europa League, where Manchester United blew up a 2-0 lead, and we'll also talk about the suspension of Sadio Mane at Bayern Munich. But first off, let's start off from the local scene and talk about the Nigerian Women Football League, where it has been confirmed that 4 teams have picked up the Super 6 ticket, and inclusive is the 2021-2022 champions, Bayelsa Queens. And aside from that, we have the likes of Delta Queens, Confluence Queens, Edo Queens, and Rivers Angels. And these are the 4 teams that have picked up the Super 6 ticket for the NWFL 2022-2023 season. And delving into more details for that, Delta Queens were the first team to qualify before the quintet joined after their wins on match day 13 with a ticket up for grab. Bayelsa United compounded the woes of Osun Babes, sending them to relegation after they won by 0-0, courtesy of a first half goal by Zainab Olakpade. And in another Group A team, Rivers Angels also jumped on bandwagon to complete the 3 teams to make it from the group after their 1-0 win against Heartland Queens, and the goal was caught by Okuchuku Chiamaka. While in Group B, Confluence Queens' goalless draw with Nasarawa Amazons at the Lokoja Stadium was enough to give Confluence Queens the qualification spot, while Edo Queens with an emphatic 4-0 win over Ibom Angels to include their names amongst the teams that have made it to the Super 6. Now, goals from the likes of Godwin Eunice, an own goal by Friday Esther, Abidin Suliat, and Fajobi Yetunde gave the comfortable win to Edo Queens. And Group B have a slot left for the 3 teams to compete. The 3 teams that will make it to the Super 6 from the group. Joseph, so far so good. Confirmed is that Osun Babes have been relegated. Of course, we know that nothing good is coming out from that particular place this time around when it comes to Osun Babes. And aside from that, in Group B, we still have more slots. Let's say 2 slots left. And the way the table stands currently, I think we should be talking about the likes of Nasarawa Amazons and of course FC Robo Queens qualifying for the Super 6 also. All
right, I'll start from here in Osun State. And over the years, in 2018 to be precise, when we took it upon ourselves as a radio station before we came on TV, we talked about Osun United. We spoke about Osun Babes and the degrading quality they have in football and the manner at which they manage players, and to a large extent how football is being played on a terrible pitch in Osun State. There was also an article about that, but then deaf ears were turned. At some point, we also inherited enemies because every time you get to the stadium, you're being booed out of the stadium. The brand, that's the radio station, at some point was not even allowed to enter the stadium because we're trying to complain about the system, how things have been run in Osun State. It's quite unfortunate that no one listened. And this present administration, I'm not a politician, but then I say things when I see things that are good that are happening to teams. They've been able to change bosses, you understand? And it's one step at a time. And hopefully they're in government, and because they have a governor who likes sports, and that is what happens when you have a governor who likes sports.
Exactly.
I mean, they will try to change the thing. So what am I trying to say is that after all the complaints we made, what they do is that every season, the beginning of every season, you bring in 30 players, 40 players for trials. You pick 25. The next season, you did them off that they did not do well. You bring another set of players. Who does that for crying out loud?
And it's still the same results. Yeah, so that's why bringing in different
I mean, you talk about maladministration in Osun State, and that is why Osun United has also been relegated to the NLO. You just confirmed right now that the girls have been relegated as well. And this will be the first time in more than 10 years that the girls are going down. You won't blame this present administration, but you blame those who have handled football. And away from the government himself, the sport administrator right there at the Oshobo Township Stadium, to the head of sports, when it comes to those handling sports, they also have their own share of the blame, because to be honest, everyone, with all due apology to them, what they're looking for is how they will eat and not for the success of the team. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not surprised that Osun Babes and Osun United have gone down the drain. But then it depends on how you pick yourself. Hopefully, the coming season, they will reflect and see where they got it wrong and make things happen rather.
Of course. course, going back to the drawing board, that is what Osun Babes at this point in time would be able to do. That is if they love themselves and still want to remain in the NWFL so far. So let's see how next season will pan out to be for them. And let's leave that aside. Let's leave Osun Babes aside, and let's also talk about the slots that are remaining in the Group B. Of course, it's 6, and it is 6 teams that are supposed to be there. We have 4 qualified, Joseph. In Group B, we still have some slots remaining. We have Edo Queens and Confluence Queen qualified already, but I see the likes of FC Robo Queens and Nasarawa Amazons, joining them up for the Super 6.
Well, I can't wait to see Nasarawa Amazons, and they were consistent, very consistent.
Exactly.
They knew what they wanted. They knew they cannot top that group, but then they can sneak in. And making it to the Super 6 is more like a playoff. Where anybody can win. And don't forget that these matches will be played on the neutral ground. Yeah. And that's the advantage they will have going into the Super 6, most especially Amazons. For Robo Queens, after a shaky start.
Ladies of Lagos.
Yeah, after a shaky start, on the verge of making it to the Super 6, it means something is working for the squad. So I'm excited for these teams, but they might, as we said, we believe they should bear any circumstances, but we believe these girls should make it to the Super 6. And I can't even wait for the Super 6, because if you look at the caliber of teams that have qualified, trust me, you get good football. Exactly,
you get good football. And just to remind you, Rivers United have qualified, Edo Queens have qualified, Delta Queens FC as well as Bayelsa Queens FC have qualified. Now, it's not just about getting to the Super 6 and winning the 2022-2023 NWFL League. It's all about also representing us in the CAF Confederation. That's for the CAF Women's
Champions League,
Women's Champions League, just to say to that. And we'll see who next will represent us there, because the likes of Rivers United, Rivers Angels rather, I remember when they represented us, they didn't do too well. Getting on to Bayelsa Queens, the 2021-2022 champions of the NWFL, did beat well. There was a little bit of progress, but they lost out in that one. And I think they competed for the 3rd place, if I'm not mistaken, on their very debut. And I think it was a nice one. So let's wait and see who next represents us.
Well, we just did the sophomore edition, and this will be the 3rd one. And why I believe these girls will go for, if not win the competition, is that there's a price tag on that title, which is $1.5 million US. And you know what that would do for a team like, say, Rivers Angels or Edo Queens or Nasarawa Amazons. And the beauty of the whole thing too is that, unlike the Super Eagles, they look at the girls, the Super Falcons, at least 70-80% of the players started from the league and moved into the national team.
That's true.
So you have these girls come together, and we've taken a large chunk of our girls are from Rivers Angels and FC Robo Queens. So you have these girls go to the continent, and when it comes to club competition, talk about female club competitions on the continent, it hasn't got into that stage. So the girls from Nigeria know fully well $1.5 million is our stake. We get a chance to play some international friendlies outside the shores of the continent. So there's more to this, and I believe whoever represents us at the continent might not win it the 3rd time, but I believe she'll be getting to the finals.
Exactly.
And talking about the finals, with 100 days to go until the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup kicks off in Australia and New Zealand. Now, CAF Online spoke to Nigeria's captain, Onome Ebi, on how the Super Falcons are preparing for their record 9th appearance at the Global Extravaganza. Now, the multiple African champions have been drawn in Group B, where they will battle out against Canada, Ireland, and host Australia. And the ambitious Nigerians are slowly folding their sleeves and getting ready to work for a good performance down under.
Exactly. And I do hope, I think just like I said earlier on when we're talking about the Super Falcons, after they got a 2 straight victory, most especially in the Turkey International Friendlies tournament they were involved in, that was just concluded. They played against Haiti, got 2-0 against their Haitian counterparts. They also played against, what's their name now, New Zealand, got 3-0. And of course, Onome Ebi, the captain of the team, was very instrumental for the girls to be able to win that game. That day she scored a goal to add to the scoreline that made it 3-0. And we also had the likes of Desire Paranosia scoring a goal. Aside from that, what's her name now? This very young girl, she's 22, Jennifer Chegini, also adding to that goal line that day to get 3-0 against New Zealand. Now that's a whole lot of motivation right there, owing to the fact that for 7 runs, straight 7 runs, international friendly games, we've not had a win all we've done is just to just get on the field, play as it comes, and just taking things merely. And of course, Randy Waldron was able to see that he is to blame for that particular one, not just the girls sharing it in the blame, but also Randy Waldron. He has received a whole lot of criticism, and that made him, better his part at this time around concerning the girls, and they were able to, get a win this time around. So on Onome Ebi, Joseph, we did talk about her. We did talk about her age. We did talk about how she can be able to improve this team, and definitely they're preparing for glory, and we do hope to see more. We expect more from the captain of the team, that's Onome Ebi, and each and every of those girls. You talk about the likes of Asisa Toshola, you talk about the likes of Rashidat Ajibade, you talk about the likes of Gift Monday.
There's a lot of players. There's also Alima Tayinde that no one is even talking about.
Not to leave out our goalkeeper.
Yeah, not to leave out the goalkeeper. But then I hope that the coach will get his tactics and some player selection right this time, because he messed up big time at the African Cup of Nations. I can't forget. You have a Gift Monday who is fast, who can convert chances, but dropped on the bench. Afan Onumonu, who doesn't even make the first team for a club in the United States of America. And don't forget, when it comes to female competitions, club competitions, even clubs in the United States cannot battle those in Spain. Maybe looked at the United States better than the Nigerian league. But Gift Monday, to every time she came on, gave us hopes. Gave us hope further that she was going to convert chances, which she did. I think she scored 1 or 2 goals. So if he gets his player selection right, we have this talent. I mean, we have the players, but then this is the time. If we miss it now, in the next 4 years, at least 13 of these girls would have called it quits. Exactly.
And still talking about that one, in the very exclusive interview where they had with Onome Ebi, they asked about the fact that Nigeria Super Falcons have been placed in Group B. You have the reigning champions Canada, you have the Republic of Ireland, as well as Australia. And, she was talking about the fact that, what and I quote, we are aware that we're in a difficult pool. We have the reigning champions Canada, who we have faced twice before, losing 1 and drawing 1. Then we have Ireland and Australia, who we have not played against. We know it will also be very tough against Australia because they will be playing at home. We are under no pressure, however, and we are calm about these matches. All of these teams have qualified and earned their rights to be at the World Cup. We have to be ready to face them. I think that's the bottom line. The Super Falcons of Nigeria have to be ready to face up their counterparts, Canada, Ireland, and of course Australia. All the best to the girls.
Because of time and still sticking with the national team, the Nigerian under-17 men's national team will depart the shores of the country for a trading tour of Germany on or before Wednesday next week, after months of camping in Abuja ahead of the CAF under-17 African Cup of Nations. I can confirm to you that the team will leave the country between Monday and Wednesday next week. The top NFF official confirmed to reporters. Now, he also told reporters that the Flying Eagles will not resume camping unless the Golden Eaglets leave for 2023 CAF under-17 AFCON.
And I think we talked about this, talking about the fact that we need more infrastructure in terms of building camping facilities, so that you do not have to wait or waste time. Maybe if the Flying Eagles are in camp, or maybe if the Super Eagles are in camp, you're waiting for them to leave before you get onto camp. And I think it's a wastage of time in the sense that you're supposed to have been getting set, bring out your drawing boards, look for a particular plan that will work for you in your major competition, and you just have to wait. But let's see how things pans out to be in terms of infrastructure running in this country, and we'll hope for the best both for the Flying Eagles, and let's look forward to their resumption. And aside from that, let's also talk about the NLO, that's grassroots football, because I tell you for sure that this time around, this season, they want to make everything, they want to put in much and more work when it comes to media publicity for the NLO. That's the nationwide league. Now, they've given its high-definition live streaming broadcast production capacity a huge boost with the purchase of more equipment ahead of the 2023 season kickoff. Now, poised to give its fans quality content and showcase the rich grassroots football culture of Nigeria to a larger audience, the NLO bought 3 each Canon XF 100 handheld camcorder, a whole lot of equipment right here to be able to complement the ones that they have in exist. And the boost of its production capacity entails that the NLO has now expanded its live stream broadcast of matches from the northwest, northeast, south, and southeast regions. Now, the NLO's chief operating officer, in person of Olushola Ogunowo, in a chat with the media department of the nation's third-tier league, gave a detailed insight into the Secretariat's plans as regards the boost of its live stream production yesterday. And just in his words, he said, like I did say when we launched the NLO TV app across the world, live streaming in its many forms has become increasingly popular as football fans can watch from their phone in Makodi, a desktop user in Ikene, another on their laptop in Denmark, as all that's needed is a device and the right internet broadband. I think this is a right step in a very correct direction, if you ask me, talking about the grassroots football, because not just us need to see this, I mean the whole world needs to see this. And aside from that, I think it will help us to curb most of these unusual happenings, most especially the ones we see going on in the NPFL.
Well, better late than never, as they say, but then this is 2023, and if we're excited that a body, well, considered responsible body for something that should have been done 18 years ago. I'm celebrating that we'll be streaming matches live that people can now watch, and is making the news. I'm going to be real with you to an extent. We need to cover our faces and shame. But then, as I said, better late than never. So it's good that we're having this come now,
exactly.
Even if it should have come earlier. As we say, kudos to them, but trust me, there are more things to do than talk about streaming matches.
We are supposed to have gone past this stage. I mean, getting ready to face,
we are talking streaming matches. But it's a welcome development.
Of course, and just to finalize the first half of the show, let's talk about the CHAN 2024. Now, after the completion of the 2022 Championship of African Nations, that's CHAN, in Algeria, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has started considering nations that will stage the 2024 edition. Now, the Teranga Lions B side emerged as the winners of the competition, beating the host Algeria via a penalty shootout. And the African football ruling body was in DR Congo during this week and are already considering the country alongside Congo Brazzaville as the joint host of the biennial tournament. The measures are taken or to be taken, and the two Congos are being considered as the joint host of the CHAN 2024. Now, the requirements for them includes the standardization to CAF standards of the quality of football stadiums likely to host CAF competitions in the DR Congo, and starting with a complete compliance, and then the reopening of the stadiums of the Matthias of Kinshasa and the Frederick Kibasa Maliba from Lubumbashi. And now, to this end, a CAF team has been tasked with ensuring the compliance of the work in progress with the implementation of the principles of good governance at FECOFA by the directives of CAF and FIFA. Now, the CAF official who visited Congo actually said, now I quite remember CHAN 2022 where definitely Teranga Lions B side emerged as champions. Of course, we saw that, what's their name now, Morocco actually boycotted that particular one because of the political apathy they have with Algeria. And we do hope that this time around that situation would not come up. Talking about the CHAN 2024.
No, I don't think so. I think they must have learned their lesson talking about CAF. Looking at the countries they are considering here, this is DR Congo and Congo Brazzaville. Exactly. We understand the rivalry between these countries as well, but then I don't think at this point there's any political tension arising from this country. So this should go on, but then they are still considering, not that it's been confirmed, but then insiders are saying these two countries will co-host, but do not forget that they are only considering and has not confirmed that DR Congo and Congo Brazzaville will co-host the CHAN 2024 competition. You're still watching Spring Sport on Western Spring Television. Matches were played yesterday in the UEFA Europa League. And of course, a big shock at Old Trafford. At some point, United fans were already celebrating that they had at least a home win against Sevilla. But after 90 minutes, the reverse was the case. We'll be back.